People in need. What do they look like?
People who are in need look like me. Basically, there is no such thing as who is in need and what do they look like. I could leave my house looking like $1 million and I could be in need. So you can't define who is in need by the way they look. We're all in society in need. We're in need of something. It may not be even the basic things in life. I may be in need of companionship, just somebody that call me on the phone, aside from food and shelter and so forth. So need can be defined in so many different ways.
This is the reality of the crisis in the U.S. economy. People who used to own their own homes are living hand to mouth on land once occupied by those less fortunate. In the last month, some 60,000 houses were repossessed, their occupants forced out when they could no longer meet ever-increasing mortgage payments. Now they shower at a local church and get by on handouts. They have nowhere else to go, and it's a difficult adjustment. But some are determined to get back on track.
People in need don't look like any other people. They don't look different. Like, you never know who's in need.
The person in need, you cannot judge by the way they look. For example, myself, if I can tell you, last night I couldn't sleep because I have personal thing I'm going. But even like that, if you give me a dress, I will clean it and dress it. People think I'm rich. Understand? So I know we'll judge people by the way they look. I will judge the people by the way they talk to me. And it's something, not even the way they look. It's when they talk to you, you feel it.
This story begins with one man's plight, his vision and divine mission to satisfy the needs of his fellow mankind. His name, Samuel Whitfield Simmons.
If you encountered my father on the street, you knew intrinsically that you were encountering someone that was unusual.
And then that's where I met Reverend Simmons. And the first time I met him, Brown introduced me to him. He said, I don't care how you're doing, all I care is about you teaching about Jesus Christ. And that's it. And he helped me a whole lot. I couldn't get over the fact that he was so ordinary to be such a great man, though.
The world lost a visionary because Daddy, to me, was a man ahead of his time. He did things that I can see that people are trying to do, thought should be done. He was trying to do them back then at that time.
In a lifetime, I would say he touched the lives of thousands of people. If we go back and we look at the city of Newark and look what has happened in the Central Ward, the medical school, he at one time drew a whole diagram back after the riots in the 60s as to what the city of Newark would look like in the future and what needed to be in place. And I'm not going to say that it was basically his total idea, but it came from his encounter with other people.
See how far things have come to just evolve and to see it, really kind of regenerating itself again. Because to me, that's how I see SWS. Yeah. That's what I see happening there, is that my father did this then. Humanity just came along and then to have my niece regenerate it and get it going again. And it's on a more of a global kind of thing, because it's just not right here. It's just not in Georgia. Yeah, she's doing it, you know, in different communities, in different counties within New Jersey. So to me, it's regenerating and expanding.
My name is Natasha Rogers, and I'm the granddaughter of Samuel Whitfield Simmons. The name of my organization is named actually after my grandfather. It's called the Samuel Whitfield Simmons Organization. And I named it after him because I wanted to continue his legacy and to pay homage to him, to all the work, all the hours that he committed his life to helping families. I did not want that legacy of his life to die, and I wanted other people who may not have never heard of him to know what a phenomenal man he was and what a Renaissance man he was in his day. And the organization, I designed it to be very different because I have a degree in psychology, and I've always worked under nonprofits ever since I graduated from college, and I pretty much saw from the inside out the operation of how to run a nonprofit, what are the things that they do and how they do it. And I ran across a lot of things that I didn't like. And I would always go back to what my grandfather believed, and that was that everyone should have the basic necessities of life, and that means food, water, shelter, and have access to that. And so I designed an organization so that if someone comes to me today and say, Natasha, I know a family who needs food, or myself, me and my family need food, I designed it so that we were able to get that food to them immediately, which means immediately is within that hour we're able to deliver a bag of groceries to them or give them a supermarket gift card so that then they can go and purchase food, and then to also be able to have access to clothing immediately. So when donors donate to us, our turnover rate from getting the clothing or food from us to them is maybe a day or two. So it's kind of an immediate emergency type of situation where people call in or come into us and say, these are my needs, and we get it to them within a couple of days. And I feel very proud about that because sometimes a family don't have a week to wait for food. We have children going to school and mothers going to work every day without eating the night before. So I wanted a program that worked very hard in getting the services to the families as quickly as possible. One of the first awards I received was the United Way Somerset County Star Award. And that is so memorable and so honorable to me because they also do the same work. And so for your peer who works with you in doing something to recognize you for what you do was such a phenomenal moment, and it was the very first one I received. I also received the Doris Garnett Award from my peers as well, and that was a total surprise, and it was offered to me. And then the last award I got was from Magic 98.3. They celebrate women who make magic in the community, and these women are women who are doing all kinds of things in community and giving and helping back, and I was just honored with that award as well. And we've received so many write-ups in the Home News Tribune and the Courier News and the Star Ledger about our work and what we're doing. So it's been phenomenal to be able to expose others to our organization and what we seek to do and how we seek to be that arm for the families who are going through tough times. To future donors and donors who are potentially thinking of donating to the Samuel Whitfield Simmons organization, I would say that it is so important to donate to organizations like the Samuel Whitfield Simmons organization because we are the organization that goes out and are in conversation and talks to families who are desperately finding themselves in situations that maybe they were never in or that they continuously find themselves in. And we are able to then, because of your donation, help these families make it to the next level, encourage them and support them, and let them see that they can have everything that they desire if they do their part as well as the organization doing theirs and supporting them. And through us, we are able then and to go out and support youth and encourage youth to not waste their time in things that are not good for them, but to get focused and to study hard and to expose them to things that maybe they never was exposed to before, to get them on the right track again. My grandfather was a big person on taking us as youth out of our environment and putting us into different areas that we might have never seen, taking us to New York City, letting us see the museum. And the Samuel Whitfield Simmons organization continues that legacy by taking our youth to Ivy League schools, getting them out of the environment that they're in and allowing them to see a possible vision. It's one thing to have a vision, but if no one places things in front of you to allow you to see, for you to be able to put that vision together and think that it is possible, you would never think that it is. But if someone exposes you to things, then that's where the vision starts to orchestrate and form, and you're able to see yourself in another place other than where you are. I just lastly just want to talk to my grandfather as if he was still here and to thank him tremendously for the sacrifice. And I just want to thank him for all the people that didn't get the chance to say thank you, for his sacrifice of his time, of his energy, of everything that he did to better us. Because of him, I'm a better person. I'm a better mother. I'm a better wife. And I actually can then go out and do everything I set to do because a man stood in front of me and said to me, not by words, but by example, that you matter and that you care. I care about you, not just me, but I care what happens to you. So that was, a profound thing for me as his granddaughter, because not everyone does that, whether they're a grandparent or a parent. No one sacrifices for the other. And I find that a lot in our youth today. There's no sacrifice, for each other. You find that in families with brothers and sisters. You find that as friends. There's no, I'm gonna sacrifice for you so that you're better. It's always, I'm gonna get there first before you do. And so I never got a chance to tell him, but I'm sure, and I'm almost positive, that he's looking down and he knows that what he did lives on, not just in what I do as an organization, but it lives on in me, and it can never die because it's in a bloodline. And so what comes from me will be going down to my children, because they're with me in doing this. They follow me every day. They get the clothes out the car. They put the clothes back in the car. And so even though he's not here, he is living. He's living in me. He's living in my cousins. He's living in my aunts, my uncles, my children. The legacy lives. So we must understand to walk by example when we are talking about our children and our youth, because they're watching. And the very thing that we embed in them today is the very thing that they will carry on with them into their families, into the college that they attend, into wherever they go. They carry with them a legacy, and we always want to make sure that that legacy exemplifies who we are, what our ancestors stood for, and the type of person we would want our children and our youth to be.
Giving to this organization will help other people achieve some of their dreams, or even if it doesn't, have them achieve their dreams, they can still become better people, knowing that, hey, look, that somebody was out there looking out for me. Then you pass that on, and somebody, you look out for somebody that's maybe a little less fortunate than you.
She just has a gift. And God just gave her that gift to be able to communicate, to make the contacts for the different people to donate to her, to be able to give to somebody else.
I just wanted it to be known that she's a great woman, and it's great to see someone who actually cares about people enough to give back and to give people who don't have everything, and just to give them something that they can say is theirs. And it's just good to see that nowadays, because it's really hard to find.
Communication is a great and most important thing in all aspects of life. Even with everything we do, you still have 8 to 10 the 12 hours at home or with your family, you must communicate. Mother, woman, sister, brother, child, father, grandfather. You have to leave that window open for communication. Even in your organizations where you have family members working with family members, you still have to have a day or a couple hours where you are able to vent and open up and share the communication that you need to share, because that's where the whole foundation starts, is communications at home, in the businesses, at work, and even at foundations like ours that assist so many people.
Looking at the news today is a cold, depressing thing. We see our nation's state and the horror's awful fate. People starving all over the land. What a low-down, dirty shame. It's here and abroad. We have ourselves to blame. Well, it's been said that we should share what the Master gives to us. Well, the time has come to help someone less fortunate than us.